morning. Today is Tuesday, June 17th, 2014, and this is Before the First Cup with Zori and Lady Pitbull. Good morning, lady.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. And yourself?
Oh, I'm sweating like a pig up in here. And I didn't work out. Jeez. I mean, I'm sweating like I just got done with CrossFit or something, man. I'm just like going, whoa, I haven't done anything yet.
How hot is it there?
Oh, crap. Well, it's 78, but the humidity is like 70%.
Oh, my God.
So, when you get 70% humidity, that's downright oppressive jungle.
I don't see how you breathe in that much humidity. It's just, I can't imagine.
Well, I absolutely refuse to put my air conditioner on, so I'm just gonna sit here in my own sweat. I mean, it's actually, I don't know, I don't mind sweat, really. I mean, I'm not complaining. It just feels like I just worked out when I didn't.
Well, a little fan would work, wouldn't it? If you
Yeah, you know, that would be a good idea, to have a little fan. I got one up in my room.
Well, you know, you can run, they have these small fans that you can plug right into your USB, and they don't use as much power, and you can just run it off your computer.
Oh. Doesn't that fry the computer out, make it hot?
No, I used mine, well, if you have adequate fans in your computer, it doesn't. Oh. And I used mine in the summertime when it gets real hot.
Wow. I've got my little laptop. All I got is a little tiny laptop. And I put it on 2 phone books, and I keep the middle, like, exposed to the air so that it doesn't overheat.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I have those fans for underneath them.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're only like $20, and you sits on top of it, and the fan keeps your laptop cool, because my HP one runs real hot.
Ooh. Yeah.
So you just buy this thing, Belgian puts it out. There's a few of them out there on the market, and it just sits on, you know, there, and it keeps it cool. Never put your laptop on a bed.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't bring my laptop upstairs into my bed at all. I keep all the electronic crap stays downstairs. I don't want that.
The fans are awesome, and they're, like I said, they're under $20, a lot of them.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I know that, Dean Haglund, one of the lone gunmen, he's the blonde-haired guy with the long hair and the glasses from X-Files.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his X-Files name was, but he sells these cool-ass ice packs that you put underneath your laptop. I can't remember what those are called either, but I think they're on...
They don't create moisture?
No, not at all. He's invented this cool-down system. You stick it in the freezer, and you put these little packs right underneath your laptop, and I guess they cool it down pretty good.
Oh,
so
yeah, that's cool too.
I think you can get them off of DeanHaglund.com. I'm pretty sure.
I'll look into that. That's
good. And he's a tech head too, so
yeah,
he's a cool dude. I like him. And X-Files again. I love them.
You and Jules both. You guys are both fans. I only seen a few episodes, but it was a good show.
I always just thought Mulder was hot as hell.
But, besides the point.
Speaking of hot as hell, I do have a TV, and I do watch some shows. I mean, I have to admit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of them that I absolutely have to watch each year is the X Games. And then I've got my hockey that I love, the Red Wings. And then I have to watch American Ninja Warrior. And that is, that's been on, and oh my god, there is some hot dudes running through that obstacle course, man. Woo! Shirtless and all. It's like, yo, go, dude, go!
I can hear you now.
I know. I'm screaming usually. People ask my neighbors, what the hell is she screaming about, you know? Yeah, there's a hot shirtless guy running an obstacle course. Woohoo! So,
Oh, boy, that's pretty bad, Katie.
oh my, I can't help it. Alright, so much for getting all jiggy on the air, man.
Oh, man. Well, you know, talking about weather, did you see those, that rare twin tornadoes?
I saw that! Now that is an object of my worst freaking nightmares. Because that was unbelievable. I mean, I saw that and my jaw was like, I thought flies were going to go into my mouth. I can't even imagine seeing that in the sky coming at me, man. Oh.
Yeah, I just posted the page on there, and it has a video of these, storm chasers.
Oh.
I mean, they got near it, and then it combined it into one.
Look at that, dude. Oh, it's right in the chat room right now. Oh, my God. See, I've had, like, dreams like that. Where there's been, like, multiple vortices in my dreams, like, but, I mean, when I dream, it's like 25, 30 in the sky, you know what I mean? They're just all around me, and, oh my God, it's...
Yeah, they said this is a rare one, you know, to see the twins, and they were both really powerful.
Just absolutely, look at that.
No, I wish I could play clips, because you can hear them talking, man, it's just like, oh wow.
Those guys must have been, all these storm chasers that got good shots of that must have been just tweaking.
Well, at one part, they were in the middle of the two of them.
Whoa! That would be, I mean, how much balls you gotta do to do that? I mean,
I would love to do that. I don't care. I mean, you know, it's scary, but I would love to. I would be one of those to be in the car. I love it.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I mean, but that's just like huge cojones.
Yeah, I've never
just,
seen
like,
one
rip right through those two. I mean,
seen one in life, real life.
No, well, I take that back. I saw the beginning of one. There was a storm. Like, I was actually eating Vietnamese food, and this big storm came through, and I paid my bill early because I'm like, I know the power's going out here, you know what I mean? And it did. So I paid my bill just before the power went out. And so I was finishing my meal, the power went out, then I went home a couple blocks away, and I got out of my car when I got home, and I looked up, and there was rotation directly above my head, but it wasn't, there was no, it was the beginnings of one. And eventually that tornado that started to form over my head, it was just the clouds rotating. It wasn't no cone or no touchdown, but that eventually that went to Hamtramck and touchdown in Hamtramck. I'm positive it was. I mean,
yeah, both of these, man, they were just taking out farmhouses.
Oh, I bet.
They were in the middle of it. I mean, that is an awesome video on that page. Everyone should watch it after the show.
Totally gonna see that when we're done here. Oh, that's the first thing I'm gonna do when we're done here.
Yeah, it was so. I was just watching it, thinking, "Oh, I wish I was there."
Oh my God, really? I mean, if you don't know what you're doing when you're out doing those tornado spottings, I mean, even if there was a guy that got killed, last year or the year before?
Yeah,
had 35, 40 years experience chasing storms, and he died. I mean,
they can turn on a dime.
Yes, absolutely. And wow, that's just amazing. So you gotta wonder, like, what kind of crap in these weather weaponry do they have to create that kind of a twin sister storm? You know? I mean, I guess they were, a mile apart or something?
I don't know. They weren't, it didn't look like, when they were in the middle of them, they didn't look that far away.
Shit, let me read this thing, alright?
Okay.
It says, several tornadoes tore through northeast Nebraska on Monday. Oh, God. Leaving one child dead and injured 19 in a path of destruction in its wake as governor declares a state of emergency. Well, I can imagine why. That's horrible. I didn't realize a kid died. The National Weather Service confirmed a storm carried at least 2 tornadoes touching down about 1 mile apart. There it is. And through the town of Filger, and surrounding areas. Victims were transported to 3 regional hospitals. At least one person had died from unspecified injuries, the hospital officials said. The Stratton County Sheriff's Office confirmed late Monday that the person was killed was a 5-year-old child. Oh, holy shit, that's horrible. The identity of the child and its gender has not been made public. Nebraska Governor Dave Hinman has declared a state of emergency for the area, according to spokeswoman Sue Roush. The order allows the governor to send in the Nebraska National Guard, which is reportedly on standby. The damage created around Filger, a town of about 380 people. Oh, that's tiny. And surrounding rural areas is said to be extensive. Oh, that's horrible. One of the tornadoes in the area lifted off the ground many times before touching down again. I think that was it. In addition to the Filger damage, was reported in Stratton and Wisner. Roush said no tornado actually hit Stratton. There have been later reports of a tornado in the area of Burwell, Nebraska. And that's all. And you can see these pictures here. That's just absolutely devastating.
Horrific.
Yeah, that's seriously. I have like tornado nightmares. Good Lord, you can see the public school there, like a before and after shot. Look like it took a direct hit. Mm-hmm. Good Lord.
Yeah, when Mother Nature gets pissed, man, nothing can stop her.
You know what's odd about? I mean, we posted these pics in the chat room, guys. Literally. When you look at that school that got messed up, you can see that the bricks on the school actually look like they've been sandblasted.
Wow.
That's really amazing because there's one little part to the school that still has the original coloring of the brick. It could be just mud coated, you know, because I mean, tornadoes fling a bunch of crap, but it looks like the damn bricks were sandblasted to me. That's crazy looking. That's horrible. Goodness. Wow, man.
I feel for those people that live out there in those where Tornado Alley and that.
Yeah, man. We're supposed to be getting some pretty heavy, hardcore thunderstorms here. Not like that by any means of the stretch of the imagination, but I'm going to be. There's a the little Manchester, Michigan country fair is starting today, and so there's a parade that's happening at 6:30 tonight, and my very good friend is running for township treasurer, and so we're going to have like a bunch of political signs for her and pass out the literature and try and get her elected because she's one of us, obviously, and she's gonna get in there and take the bull by the horns and, you know, try and stop some really crappy stuff from happening on a township level. So, thank God for her and her efforts, and we're gonna try real hard today at the parade to get her name out there. My sister's gonna deck out her horse in bells, and we're gonna paint his feet and make them look all beautiful and stuff, and it'll be pretty cool. It'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's exciting. I know. I love getting involved. It just makes you feel so good, like you're really doing something. You know, it's very rewarding to get involved in these things.
Absolutely.
Like, get behind someone you really believe in, and yeah, it is. It's very rewarding. Everyone should try and do it when they can.
Well, hopefully we don't get rained out tonight. So I've got a little concern about that. I'm sure if it gets too bad, they're going to call the parade off. But if it's just, sprinkles or whatever, I'm sure it'll go forth and be okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
Excited.
Yeah. You'll get hooked. I'll tell you, you will get hooked. I got hooked a long time ago in getting involved, and like I said, it's so rewarding.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And there's so much crap going on out there right now with, and most all of these freaking politicians, man, they're all freaking criminals. I mean, even on a local level, they're just willing to roll over and show their big fat white bellies, for, a couple $100, man.
That's why city council meetings and everything are very important, because then you know when they're lying and when they're telling the truth, because you've been to the meetings, you've heard what they have to say.
Exactly. Yeah, and you know what the heck is going on, and people, the reason why, on a local level at least, speaking, the reason why they get away with this is because nobody's over there paying any attention to what's going on.
Yeah, there's almost always a full house at every city council meeting here.
Well, there should be. That's how it should be. Here, I don't think it's quite like that at all. I think it's, it's small town, and, people...
This is a small... I mean, I live in a small town, too. And, well, there's one guy, too, Carl. He has never missed a meeting yet. And he puts out the call if there's something urgent that comes up.
Yeah.
So that's good to have someone there that, and they know him, and he's always respectful to them, but he keeps them on their toes, which is, it'd be good if every city could have someone that did overwatch the city council, call in the people when it's needed,
That's right. Council watch, man. Just like we need court watchers out there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? All this stuff is absolutely imperative, but people don't believe that they've got obligations to be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah. So, I was just reading the chat, and Becky said that somebody got beat up by the cops, someone she knows. And I was just reading this. No-knock SWAT raids leaves Texas father dead. Family traumatized. And then you got to realize this is happening every single day, people. And again, cops, there's no accountability. And I'm going to read this one.
Sure.
Fort Worth, Texas. Gun-wielding, black-suited law enforcement busted into a home with a battering ram, terrifying everybody inside and leaving one man dead. Newly released helmet cam video of the incident shows in graphic detail how this violent no-knock raid produced yet another casualty in the vicious war on drugs. The raid took place on May 16, 2013. So-called zero-tolerance officers from the Fort Worth Police Department staged a raid on a suspected drug house with the intent of rounding up and imprisoning people for getting high without government permission. Police sought and received permission from the Tarrant County Magistrate Cheyenne Minnick to break into the home with no warning in order to surprise everyone inside. As the video shows, sometime after 3:35 p.m., men in helmets and black uniforms sprinted through the yard with shotguns and pistols already drawn. A cop with a large steel battering ram instantly went to the front door and smashed it in without hesitation. From a first-person perspective, the video shows cops running into the home, aggressively screaming and aiming guns. In a video obtained by WFAA, an officer holding a shotgun literally sweeps his barrel past everyone seen in the living room. First, a large man sleeping on the couch, then a tiny female child dressed in blue, a woman in purple, and 3 men seated at a round table. When they came in, they had their weapons drawn like they were members of a drug cartel, a woman who was in the house told the Star-Telegraph. After sufficiently terrifying everyone with the surprise assault, officers proceeded to force everyone to lie face down on the ground, on the floor, in handcuffs. Jeremy DJ Darden, 34, who had been startled awake by the intrusion, received particular attention from police. Darden, a large man who weighed over 300 pounds, was having physical difficulties after being forced to the ground with several officers on top of him. He was physically unable to breathe in that position due to his asthma condition, heart disease, and weight of the officers. They physically pulled him off the couch because, like I said, he was asleep, explained his mother, Donna Randall. They pulled him off the couch and they tried to put him on his stomach. He can't breathe on his stomach. He don't even lie on the bed on his stomach. Officers characterized his futile struggle to breathe as being met with resistance. At least 5 officers piled on top of him, exacerbating his breathing problem. Video shows Mr. Darden being tasered at least twice, not because officers feared for the safety, but as a compliance tool. His body was painted with red laser dots before a pop was heard, as the sharp prongs of the device were thrust into his flesh. 16 seconds later, police jolted him again. Each jolt lasted 5 seconds. Witnesses said he was not resisting at all, only trying to breathe. He had his hands behind his back the whole time, but me and about 5 others people were hollering the whole time, "He can't breathe like that. Please handcuff him to the side." But they ignored us and tasered him again. Officers successfully handcuffed Mr. Darden and eventually propped his limp body up into the sitting position, but he didn't have long to live. A witness, Cliff Crichton, said he saw paramedics bring Mr. Darden into the front yard to attempt to revive him. They were pounding on his chest and squeezing on the airbag, said Crichton, 29. "I saw his arm fall limp and police officers placed it back on his chest, and I thought to myself, he's dead." Crichton commented on the lack of urgency to reach the hospital. They sat in the ambulance about 10 minutes before it moved, and then it rolled away, no lights, no sirens. Jeremy Drayden was pronounced dead at the hospital. He left a wife and 2 teenage sons. He was found him with nothing. They found nothing illegal in his possession. It took months for the medical examiner to declare the cause of death. While some expected death to be a homicide, it was instead announced Mr. Drayden died of natural causes. No culpability was placed on the officer's use of force or the multiple electrical shocks. Officially, it was just a coincidence that he died during the raid. No, he didn't die of natural causes, because if that's the case, he would have already been dead, his mother said. They gave him a heart attack. They put him into a heart attack. Presented with a dismissive explanation for Darden's death, a grand jury predictably let off the sole unnamed police officer who was reviewed for criminal liability. This has got to stop. This has got to stop. As far as, and they didn't say anything about any drugs being found in the house.
Right. So what was their purpose for going in the first place?
It was a drug. It was supposedly a drug house, and they got a no-knock, go in guns blazing. This is a war on us, people. This could happen to you, to me, to anyone, just on a snitch calling in or anything, and you'd end up dead, and no one's going to be held accountable for it. Your kids could end up dead.
There was another incident here. I don't know, 6 months ago now, where it was 3 mall cops, and there was a young kid. I guess this kid was like 17 years old, but 3 guys were on this kid, and they freaking killed him. And just by sitting on him like they did to this big guy. And
those cops are way overweight, and you put all that weight on someone's chest.
Yeah. And then add all that weight that this guy, he was 300 freaking pounds. You're just compounding pressure, really. The kid that died here was like 17 years old and looked, thin. but I mean, 3 cops on you, yeah, it's something bad's gonna happen. But if you are overweight and then compound all that, and asthma, and then add, the
and they were telling him that
then they add the tasers to it, then it's something bad's gonna happen.
There's no records of all these deaths. They do not keep records of this. Only keep records of police dying, but of innocent citizens, no records at all.
So they never found drugs at these people's house?
Well, they didn't say anything about drugs and the whole thing. That was the whole thing there. The grand jury, and the cops are still out there working. So what does that do? It's a license to kill, and don't you think they aren't into it?
Well, hopefully the family's suing. I mean, because
and this is a year ago.
Well, this is all really that people can do is when, mistreatment by law enforcement comes into play, then you need to go find yourself a lawyer and sue the crap out of them. And that's the only way really that we can fight back. Or maybe cops need to start taking anger management classes. I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe let's not treat this guy who's overweight I'm starting to feel like we're living in like Mexico or something and dealing with drug cartels.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how the cops are acting. They're acting like, wow, Mexican drug cartels. Don't they run around like raiding people's houses and shooting people in the tapping people in the head that they're and whole families, and you know what I mean? I mean, this is how they operate, and cops here not and I'm not saying all cops.
Yeah, I posted that because there's videos on this. I mean, you see firsthand as the cops are going in because it was on their helmet. There's the link to it, and when you watch that, it was just so uncalled for. And like it says here, this is the last paragraph.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. It says, the rivers of blood spilled in such senseless situation provides us with the most compelling and personal reason to end the violent drug war. None of this would have a chance to happen if the government wasn't fixated on micromanaging people's personal decisions, sending enforcers who are prepared to kill or be killed in the name of the senseless prohibition laws. So, yeah, and it's true. Prohibition does not work in a free society. It doesn't. It can't.
Well, it's designed on purpose, as the rest of it is.
Drugs doesn't have anything to do with it. And you wonder, how many of these drug enforcers are... Now, some of them truly believe in what they're doing. They really do. They've been so brainwashed that, but then others know that it's wrong. Others know that they're doing it for the money so that they can keep their organization going.
Keep the racket going. It's an organized crime. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. I mean, because we know the government ships in the drugs, and we know the same entities that ship in the drugs also own the prisons. So there's the Hegelian dialectic again. We're going to benefit from both sides. You support both sides of the argument, and we benefit from the middle. And that's exactly what's happening. This is the whole premise behind the war on drugs. And it's the same entities benefiting from this.
Now, I found this other one because it all kind of relates into what's really going on. Have you heard of Whitehead?
Okay, well, good. Yes, in fact, that's what I was going to bring up because it kind of it totally dovetails into all this. So what we're seeing here is now I got to tell you, that I've seen the local SWAT team members here and how they dress, right? And they're dressed in digital camo, okay? And that is they're becoming militarized. That's how the military dresses. I mean, cops wearing camo is like, oh, hey, wait a minute, man. I mean, we out in the woods here? What's the deal?
Right. Or else they're all in black. One or the other.
Well, I kind of want to backtrack here just a tad bit.
Okay.
a lot of the reasons why I have to just say this before we move on because I wanted to bring this point up. But a lot of the reasons why when cops kill someone in these raids, a lot of times they're not fired on the spot or whatever, taken off of duty is because of the unions. The unions keep them in there, and that's why you don't see these cops get fired while there's investigations of the incident that happen. While the investigation's going on, there's still either paid leave, you know what I mean? The paid leave thing, it totally comes from the unions. So
yeah, and they don't think they should be punished until they've been found guilty.
Right. So that
doesn't work for the citizens being put in prison.
No, it doesn't. But according to the union, it's workers' rights. You know what I mean? So we've got to keep stuff into perspective here. I think, in terms of pointing fingers. People are so quick to point fingers and these cops.
The police are all part of that union, though. So
they absolutely are. But a lot of people tend to blame the
officer.
The law enforcement,
for what is
chief of police or whatever, and the whole agency there. Yeah.
Procedure to do that.
Yeah, there's certain procedures that they've got to follow or whatever. I'm not making excuses for these guys, people. Right. I'm just not. But it really has to be seen from both sides. You know what I'm saying?
True.
We've got to, in order to stop this shit from coming down, we have absolutely got to put ourselves in other people's shoes.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, am I condoning these guys for just running into this family that didn't have any drugs in their house and killing a guy? Hell no! These son of a bitches need to be charged with freaking murder, and their family sued, and the department sued, and the freaking city.
And all that does is hurt us, though, really, in the long run, because we are paying out those suits. What needs to be done is you get rid of an officer once they're sued and found, and they award an amount of money to someone, that officer's gone.
Absolutely.
No, he stays on duty. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it should be a lot more strict regulations on police. And that is the fault of the police department itself. That has nothing to do with unions, because the cops can come up with their own damn policy within their own freaking forces, I would imagine. That's how it works. So there should be a policy of, how about tolerance as far as cops go? No tolerance. Right. Why don't we start saying that? No tolerance.
In the old days, you did. When a cop did something under the cover of color, they call it, when he finished time, they really did get punished, and they got punished.
Well, Steve, why don't we have that again? Why?
I'll tell you why when I get into this article.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Why? It's because it's being morphed. It's being morphed on a local level, and cops' brains are being rewired or retrained, or you know what I mean, into a military style form of law enforcement. This is exactly how our army trains to go into places like Iraq and stuff. They have these little cities, and they do the SWAT team style raids, right? And so it's been morphed right in front of our faces. And this is how the cops are getting trained now. And this is very dangerous precedents being set. And now can't forget this. The Department of Justice is, supplying local law enforcement agencies with tanks and ACP.
Yeah, that's all in this article I wanted to get into.
Can I read it? Is it okay if I read it?
Sure. It's a long article, but I wanted to go through it. So, because we know a lot of this. A lot of it's because, what we do. But even I was surprised at some of this. And this is very important. So, you got has the Department of Homeland Security become American Standing Army?
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
So, and here it is. And so, well, if you think back, right, back to like World War II in Germany, that's what the SS was. It was Hitler's homeland security.
Well, remember Obama's speech? We need a force here as to meet up with our military force. We need a American, like American army, I guess.
A civilian force.
A civilian force, right? To level up as strong as our army.
Right.
Yeah, that's where this all comes from. So yeah, go ahead and read this. This is.
It's this is it's not funny anymore. And when Homeland Security first came in, I remember it clearly. I'm like, here we go with the freaking Stasi force, boffing.
Just figure, Homeland Security has only been with us a few years.
Right, and
this is the scary part of this article.
This is the boffin SS right here in America, people. What is this? What's the basic premise? Socialism.
Let's do the article.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, I just want to paint that whole picture before I even start on this, because hopefully that's going to set the stage for what's actually here. So, all right. A standing military force with an overgrown executive will not long be safe companions to liberty. James Madison said that, guys. Here in New Mexico, we are moving toward a national police force. Homeland Security is involved with a lot of little things around town. Somebody in Washington needs to call a time out. Dan Klein, retired Albuquerque Police Department sergeant. See? The cops are even... Not all cops are not seeing this, people. So let's, we gotta have cool heads here. If the United States is a police state, then the Department of Homeland Security is its national police force, with all the brutality, ineptitude, and corruption as such a role implies. In fact, although the DHS's governmental bureaucracy may at times appear to be inept and bungling, it is ruthlessly efficient when it comes into building what the founders feared most, a standing army on American soil. That's what Posse Comitatus is supposed to avoid, people. A standing army. All right. The third largest federal agency behind the Departments of Veterans Affairs and Defense, the DHS, with its 240,000 full-time workers, $61 billion in budget, and sub-agencies that include the Coast Guard, Customs and Border Protection, Secret Service, Transportation Security Administration, TSA, and Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, has been aptly dubbed a, quote, runaway train. Absolutely. All those agencies I just mentioned, we could totally do without every one of them. Maybe the border protection. I think we need that about now. And the Coast Guard's good too. And Secret Service, all right, fine. TSA out, FEMA out.
What good is the Border Patrol doing it when we got 35,000 immigrants coming across every month?
I know that they were ordered to stand down.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, they're actually, it's pissing a lot of them off right now. So, okay. Continuing, in the 12 years since it was established to prevent terrorist attacks within the United States, the DHS has grown from a post 9/11 knee-jerk reaction to a leviathan with tentacles in every aspect of human life, of American life. With good reason, a bipartisan bill to provide greater oversight and accountability in the DHS's purchasing process has been making its way through Congress. Good. So, I mean, they're just willy-nilly buying all kinds of ammo and automatic weapons and God knows what else they've got. You know what I mean? They're just just taking giant amounts of this budget and buying all these tanks and all these rounds of ammo and everything, you name it. Armor-piercing rounds at that, shall I remind everybody? Alright, a better plan would be to abolish the DHS altogether, yes. In making the case for shutting down the de facto National Police Agency against Charles Kenny, analyst Charles Kenny offers the following reasons. 1, agency lacks leadership. Really, I think. 2, terrorism is far less of a threat than it's been made out to be. 3, the FBI has actually stopped more alleged terror attacks than the DHS. What? Wait. 4, I vehemently disagree with that because the FBI has staged all their alleged terror attacks. Okay. 4, the agency wastes exorbitant amounts of money with little to show for it. 5, an overweight DHS gets a free pass to infringe civil liberties without a shred of economic justification. And 6, the agency is just plain bloated. Wow, did you really just say that? Yeah, I would agree with that, wouldn't you? Sorry? Yeah. I mean, come on. All of those points were true except for the FBI has actually stopped more alleged terror attacks than the DHS. That's completely false. To Kenny's list, I will add to the following. All right. The menace of a national police force, aka also known as a standing army vested with so much power, cannot be overstated, nor can its danger be ignored. Indeed, as the following list shows, just about every nefarious deed, tactic, or thuggish policy advanced by the government today can be traced back to the DHS. Its police state mindset, and the billions of dollars it distributes to police agencies in the form of grants. Militarizing police and SWAT teams. Just what we were talking about, people. We were just talking about this. Militarizing police and SWAT teams. The DHS routinely hands out 6-figure grants to enable local municipalities to purchase military-style vehicles, as well as a veritable war chest of weaponry, ranging from tactical vests, bomb-disarming robots, and assault weapons and combat uniforms. The rise in military equipment purchases funded by the DHS has, according to analysts Andrew Becker and G.W. Schultz, quote, paralleled an apparent increase in local SWAT teams, unquote. The end result? An explosive growth in the use of SWAT teams for otherwise routine police matters, and an increased tendency on the part of police to shoot first and ask questions later, and an overall mindset within police forces that they are at war and the citizenry are the enemy combatants. Just like they killed that big 300-pound guy just now. Same thing. Same thing we were just saying. Spying on activists, dissidents, and veterans. In 2009, DHS released 3 infamous reports on right-wing and left-wing extremism and other identified Operation Vigilant Eagle. And another entitled Operation Vigilant Eagle, outlining a surveillance program targeting veterans. Now, why would they want to do that, folks? The reports collectively and broadly define extremists as individuals and groups, quote, that are mainly anti-government, rejecting federal authority in favor of state or local authority, or rejecting government authority entirely, unquote. Wow. I think that kind of covers everybody within earshot of this voice right here, unfortunately. So, oh boy. In 2013, it was revealed that DHS, the FBI, state and local law enforcement agencies, and the private sector were working together to conduct nationwide surveillance on protesters' First Amendment activities. Stockpiling ammunition. DHS, along with other government agencies, has been stockpiling an alarming amount of ammunition in recent years, which only adds to the discomfort of those already leery of the government. Wow, do you think? As part of 2013, DHS had 260 million rounds of ammo in stock, which averages out between 1,300 and 1,600 rounds per officer. The U.S. Army, in contrast, has roughly 350 rounds per soldier. Wow! That's a stark contrast. Why in the hell would they send, like, our guys out in the field, like in Iraq and Afghanistan, with only 350 rounds per freaking soldier, when they're going to give the cops 1,600 freaking rounds? Wow! D8, that's a head screw right there. DHS has since requisitioned more than 1.6 million,
billion.
So, yeah, hang on a second. It's since requisitioned, so, in other words, since 2013, they have requisitioned more, and it's 1.6 billion rounds of ammo. Enough, concludes Forbes magazine, to sustain a hot war for 20 plus years. Well, here we go, people. If you haven't fastened your seatbelt by now, then you're never going to. That's definitely amazing. Alright. Distributing license plate readers. Alright. DHS has already distributed more than 50 million in grants to enable local police agencies to acquire license plate readers, which rely on mobile cameras to photograph and identify cars, match them against a national database, and track their movements. Relying on private contractors to maintain a license plate database allows the DHS and its affiliates to access millions of records without much in the way of oversight. Contracting to build detention camps. Oh, here we go. This is where all the illegals come in, guys. In 2006, DHS awarded $385 million contract to Halliburton, right? To a Halliburton subsidiary to build detention centers on American soils. Although the government and Halliburton were not forthcoming about where or when these domestic detention centers would be built, they rationalized the need for them in case of, quote, an emergency influx of immigrants, or to support the rapid development of new programs, unquote. So, now we're seeing it happen. Holy sheep shit. Alright, this is exactly what we've been talking about, all of this. Just because we're seeing it here in an article does not make it any more true than it was freaking yesterday or 10 years ago. Viewed in conjunction with the NDAA provision allowing the military to arrest and indefinitely detain anyone, including American citizens, it would seem the building blocks are already in place for such an eventuality. Wow, do you think? Tracking cell phones with Stingray devices. Distributed to local police agencies as a result of grants from the DHS, these Stingray devices enable police to track individual cell phones and their owners without a court warrant or court order. The amount of information conveyed by these devices about one's activities, whereabouts, and interactions is considerable. As one attorney explained, because we carry our cell phones with us virtually everywhere we go, Stingrays can paint a precise picture of where we are and who we spend time with, including our location in a lover's house, a psychiatrist's office, a psychologist's office, or a political protest. Or even a book club, or maybe a religious gathering, or wherever you, churches and everywhere. And if you, whatever, you guys, this is really off the pale here. And carrying out military drills and lockdowns in American cities. Each year, DHS funds military-style drills in sites across the country. These urban shield exercises, elaborately staged with their own set of professionally trained crisis actors, playing the parts of shooters, bystanders and victims, fool law enforcement officials, students, teachers, bystanders, and the media into thinking it's a real crisis. When have we been seeing this carried out in virtually every single thing that happens out there, like Sandy Hook and the Boston Marathon, has all had forms of this involved, whether real or staged. So, and I think what they do is they have a balance of real and staged, so just to get the psychological, the trauma-based mind control on the people to be more real. All right, guys, moving on. Using the TSA as advanced guard. This is going to be a good one. The TSA now searches a variety of government and private databases, including things like car registrations and employment information, in order to track travelers before they ever get near an airport. Other information collected includes tax identification number, past travel itineraries, property records. Property records? Really? TSA has our property records? Physical characteristics and law enforcement or intelligence information. Wow. Why in the hell would the freaking TSA need property records, you guys? What the hell is going on around here?
Well, now they can read your documentation that you have with you, too.
Absolutely. Well, sure. I guess the guy who played Mini-Me went through the TSA within the last few days, and this poor guy is like in a freaking wheelchair. He's a dwarf, and they were looking like down his freaking butt crack, man. And flopping them all around. I mean, you can't be... it can't be treating people like that, but they don't give a shit. They're getting your property records. Yeah, there definitely is some aspects of this that we didn't know, and the TSA getting our property records is one of them. Why in the hell would they even want to know that kind of information? I mean, and who in the
know everything.
So how would they get access?
Easy, you buy your ticket, they run it through databases.
Right. This is fucking crazy. This is crazy. All right, move on. I'm going to read this whole damn thing. Conducting virtual strip searches with full body scanners. Under the direction of the TSA, American travelers have been subjected to all manner of searches, ranging from whole-body scanners and enhanced pat-downs at airports to bag searches in train stations. In response to public outrage over what is amount to a virtual strip search, the TSA has begun replacing scanners with equally costly yet less detailed models. Yeah, sure. The old scanners will be used by prisons for now. Oh, wonderful. Nothing like radiating all the prisoners at like 10,000 times the freaking dose of an average X-ray. Yeah, let's go kill them now. Carrying out soft target checkpoints. All right. VIPR, Viper Task Forces, comprised of federal air marshals, surface transportation security inspectors, transportation security officers, here we go, Behavior detection officers. I've never heard of one of those. And explosive detection canine teams have laid the groundwork for the government's effort to secure so-called soft targets such as malls, stadiums, bridges, etc. Some security experts predict that checkpoints and screening stations will eventually be established at all soft targets, such as department stores, restaurants, and schools. DHS Operation SHIELD, a program which seeks to check up on security protocols around the country with unannounced visits, conducted a surprise security exercise at the Social Security Administration building in Leesburg, Florida, when they subjected people who went to pick up their checks to random ID checks by federal agents armed with semi-automatic weapons. Oh, that's nice. Soft target checkpoints, that's called. Viper task forces. You know, if they demand your ID, you do not have to give that to them.
I wouldn't say that to them when they're armed with semi-automatic weapons and ready to use them.
Man, this whole thing is... So what are we seeing here at this point? I'm going to just stop here. What are we seeing here so far from what I've read? We're seeing...
a lot more agencies than I knew existed, for one thing.
Well, I'm trying to point out that with the TSA agencies and the airports and all of these drills that they have. I went a few years ago and I filmed a drill down here in the next town, a few towns over here, and we filmed that whole thing from start to finish, and there was definitely, I definitely got on camera the military, you know, guys in camo, the actual army being involved with this drill. I got that all on film. It wasn't it wasn't hard to get. We just went there and started filming it. But they used kids from the local high school to help in this drill. You know, all the kids were on a bus, and they were in distress and being held hostage, blah, blah, blah. And I got all that on film.
They do this without prep, without telling the students or the teachers or the bus driver. These people...
Well, these kids and these teachers knew that it was happening. It was like a voluntary, hey, participate in this drill, blah, blah.
Because they're doing them now where they don't inform
them. Don't announce it. But they don't announce it. I just read that. I just read that. But the thing is here, guys, the point I'm trying to make is that they're getting everybody acclimated to a police state. That's the whole idea behind the checkpoints, behind the behind the TSA screening, behind knock and talks, behind stopping somebody on the street asking for ID. I mean, they're teaching our children how to become acclimated to live in a society such as this. And this is the direct problem that we're facing here. This is happening every day. All right, going on. Directing government workers to spy on Americans. Oh, here we go with the Tattletale Society. Terrorism liaison officers are firefighters, police officers, and even corporate employees. I think there's a agency about that. I can't remember. Let's see if it mentions it. I can't remember what it's called. The corporate employees who have a snitch. I can't remember what the hell it's called.
The infusion center?
Yes, it has to do with the infusion centers, but the guys are called something else. But that's right. You're absolutely right. It absolutely has to do with the infusion centers. All right, let me go back. Terrorism liaison officers are firefighters, police officers, and even corporate employees. I can't remember what they're called, guys, who receive training to spy on and report back to government entities on the day-to-day activities of their fellow citizens. These individuals are authorized to report, quote, suspicious activity which can include such innocuous activity as taking pictures with no apparent aesthetic value. Who the hell determines that? Making measurements and drawings, taking notes, conversing in code, espousing radical beliefs, and buying items in bulk. Oh, really? I cannot remember what those guys are called. The
Infraguard?
Yes! Yes! Sorry! Woohoo!
Thank you, Maddie.
Yay, Maddie! Thank you, Maddie! Infraguard. That's Infraguard. That's what the Infraguard guys are about. Thank you, Maddie. You rock. Thank you very much. I'm not paying attention, obviously, to the chat room. So, but that's it. Those are the Infraguard officers, and they're everywhere. And they're also connected to the Freemasons and blah, 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 all the way down the freaking line. Okay, so, yeah, and I've got a friend of mine who is completely outside of all this. He's not a conspiracy theorist. He doesn't even believe in half this crap. You know what I mean? He's just so outside of all this. And he likes to write letters in code because it's kind of a hobby for him. You know what I mean? And it's funny because he just says like inane, babbling, stupid shit. You know what I mean? And he just thinks it's funny to, do that and, send letters like that. I get letters all the time like that. And I don't even decipher half of them because it's just like, oh my God, I don't have time to do this. But I love this guy and he's not involved in any of this crap. So he's obviously a suspect now if he, starts sending letters in code. It's just ridiculous. Continuing. Conducting widespread spying networks. Here you go. Conducting widespread spying networks using fusion centers. Data collecting agencies spread throughout the country, aided by the National Security Agency, fusion centers, of which are at least 78 scattered around the U.S. Constantly monitor our communications, collecting and cataloging everything from our internet activity and web searches to text messages, phone calls, and emails. The data, when it is fed to government agencies, which are now interconnected, the CIA, the FBI to local police. This is why, guys, we're seeing, I'm starting to see, like, whenever there's something that goes on, like, in Detroit or whatever, like a murder or something like that, the FBI is always there. Now, all of a sudden, the FBI's got their nose in every local, agency's business now. I'm seeing that with my own two eyes. Despite a budget estimated to be somewhere between $289 million and $1.4 billion, these fusion centers have proven to be exercises in incompetence, often producing irrelevant, useless, or inappropriate intelligence while spending millions of dollars on flat-screen television, sport utility vehicles, hidden cameras, and other gadgets. Oh, goody. Goody, goody, goody. Yeah, I kind of saw that firsthand. The FBI used, when they used to set up Hutari during that raid, there was this brand new flat screen, TV set just sitting in there, $5,000 piece of equipment. You know what I mean? It just kind of gave it all away right there. Alright. Carrying out Constitution-free border control searches. On orders from the DHS, the government's effects along the border have become little more than an exercise in police-state power, ranging from aggressive checkpoints to widespread use of drone technology, often used against American citizens traveling within the country. Border Patrol operations occur within 100 miles of any international crossing, putting some 200 million Americans within the bounds of aggressive Border Patrol searches and seizures, as well as increasingly expansive drone surveillance, With 71 checkpoints along the southwest border of the United States alone, suspicious search and seizures on the border are rampant. Border Patrol agents also search the personal electronic devices of people crossing the border without a warrant. So, but if you're coming in illegally and you get these papers saying, oh yeah, I'm here, all they got to do is wave that little piece of paper, and they are ushered right through these border patrol. They're just ushered right through. They're being trucked through by the busload in these checkpoints.
The main thing there is that 100-mile Constitution-free zone. That means anyone living within that 100 miles.
Well, yes.
They can come into your home and search it. They can stop you anywhere.
Yes.
And, it's not to catch immigrants.
No. Immigrants are allowed just to go right through. They're not being searched. They're not being, investigated. They're just being allowed red carpet right in. And meanwhile, the rest of
us... most people don't even realize they live in a constitutional free zone where they have no rights.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. So, it's not very hard to paint the picture as we do every single day here on UCY. It's not very hard to see what the hell's going on, at least for us. So, continuing, funding citywide surveillance cameras. As Charlie Savage reports for the Boston Globe, the DHS has funneled millions of dollars to local governments nationwide for purchasing high-tech video camera networks, accelerating the rise to a surveillance society in which the sense of freedom that stems from being anonymous in public will be lost. These camera systems, installed in city streets, in parks, in transit systems, operating in conjunction with sophisticated computer systems, boast an intelligent video analytics, digital biometric identification, military pedigree software for analyzing and predicting crime, and facial recognition software, create a vast surveillance network that can target millions of innocent individuals. Utilizing drones and other spy bots. The DHS has been at the forefront of funding and deploying surveillance robots and drones for land, sea, and air, including robots that resemble fish, and tunnel bots which can travel underground. Despite repeated concerns over their danger, surveillance drones and used domestically to pose to Americans' privacy rights, the DHS has continued to expand its fleet of Predator drones, which come equipped with video cameras, infrared cameras, heat sensors, and radar. DHS also loans its drones out to local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies for a variety of tasks. Although the agency refuses to divulge any details as to how and why, in what capacity these drones are being used to police. Incredibly, the DHS has also been handing out millions of dollars in grants to local police agencies to accelerate the adoption of drones in their localities. Yeah, we were just talking about that the other day. And I'm almost done with this article, so let me go ahead and finish. It's not difficult to see why the DHS has been described as a wasteful, growing, fear-mongering beast, as if it is a beast, however, it is a beast that is accelerating our nation into the transformation of a police state through its establishment of a standing army, aka also known as National Police Force. This, too, is nothing new. Historically, as I show in my book, A Government of Wolves, the Emerging American Police State, The establishment of a national police force has served as a fundamental and final building block to every totalitarian regime that has ever wreaked havoc on humanity, from Hitler's all-too-real Nazi Germany to George Orwell's fictional Oceania. Whether fictional or historical, however, the calling cards of these national police agencies remain the same: brutality, inhumanity, corruption, intolerance, rigidity, and bureaucracy. In other words, evil. Constitutional attorney and author Don W. Whitehead is founder and president of the Rutherford Institute. Okay, that's interesting. His latest book, A Government of Wolves, The Emerging American Police State, is available online at blah, 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 Amazon, whatever. Okay.
There's the link, people, to what we just read.
Thank you. All right, can you talk about it for a second? Because I have no water here, and I am, parched after reading that.
Okay.
Real quick.
Yeah, so, more and more we're seeing this takeover. I mean, just like the article we watched just before this, the way they raided that house, no warrant. They don't, you know what, they could just break into anyone's house for any reason. They don't even have to give a judge a reason. They just say they want a no-knock warrant, and the judge will write it out. They don't have to give evidence of it or anything. And they can do this to anyone at any time, and they are. And that's what people got to understand. Make it your business to go to your city council meetings. It's one day a week, people. Maybe an hour and a half is all it takes. And stay informed as to how much your town is getting grants. They discuss the grants at city council meetings, and when they purchase new equipment, that goes through city council meetings. Keep an eye on it. Drive by your police departments and see. Keep an eye on what kind of equipment they're getting. Even the little, rural areas are getting these big armored cars, and they say, well, we don't use them very often, but they seem to be being used more and more and more.
It's like Jules says, it's that carrot and the stick. They're being offered all this freaking free cash. It's like,
all this grants, yeah.
Sure, yeah, we'll take that, you know what I mean? Of course the city council is going to be like, yeah, bring it on, man, we need cash, you know what I mean? It's
right, but then the people, if you're going to those meetings, you could say, we don't want the grants. We don't want the grants. We don't want what comes with it. And that's, because the city council, and you can get rid of a city council person who doesn't do what is voted on by the people of the community. They aren't like a president where you have to go and impeach them. All you need is enough people to go in and sign and say, we don't want this one. He's not representing us anymore. And because they'll keep doing it. It's just like I remember at the town hall meeting when our city council came, our mayor came and our city manager came, and they were talking about all this stuff. And one of the guys got up and he said, well, this is a warning to you. The old days are over. We are paying attention now, and you are going to answer to us. And things changed a lot since then.
Yeah, absolutely.
These are people that especially your own community, you have control here, people. And so you can't really complain about what your city council enforces if you don't go out there and tell them what you want. And then if they go against it, get rid of them. But, people got to go and pay attention. That's why we're where we are, is because we were so lax. Things are going so good that nobody was paying attention. Now they've got a lot of power, and it's up to us to take that power back away from them.
Right. And literally not all police officers agree with what's going on here. But
they do go along with it. That is the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. They do go along with it.
Like that one officer that tried, he refused to do what his captain said when he wanted him to go arrest a guy that didn't deserve being arrested. Well, he eventually got fired, and he said flat out, if you want to change the police department, you got to do it from the outside. It will never be done from the inside.
Yeah. the late Officer Jack McClam was no stranger to that kind of thing. I mean, he was one of the very few good officers that, stood up and said, hey, I'm not going to, follow this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to follow unlawful orders. I'm just not doing that. And he was fired and then rehired, you know what I mean? And fired and rehired and fired and rehired.
Then also all the police in the department are against you. They're against you. You can go back. Not many people can do that. Go back after they, if they fight to be rehired, and then you have everyone against you. You don't know if you have someone that's got your back or not.
Yeah.
I would not go back in. I would do it from the outside.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, and that's another way. That's kind of a really good point, though, actually, Zori, because, again, putting yourself in someone else's shoes here, the mindset is quite militaristic because really, those guys that are doing, and I heard this I heard this on a radio show yesterday, but they were saying that when guys go off to like Iraq and Afghanistan for like 3, 4, 5 tours of duty, I think I heard this on Jack Blood maybe, they're not going there because they're going there. They're not going there because they believe they're like fighting for the country and all that stuff. By the time they're on their 3rd and 4th tour, they know what the hell's going on. They're going there because they don't want to abandon their brothers out there in the field to have each other's back, and they're fighting for them as backup. So really move that kind of mindset here to the police force, and the cops are always called the cops are always called, the Brotherhood. So they've got to have each other's back, because if you're in a group, like, I don't care what kind of group you're in, like a biker group or a militia group or a cop group or whatever, it's all different gangs or whatever, the Bloods and the Crips. If you've got somebody or within the group that doesn't have your back, then the whole group breaks down. I mean, really, to see it on a fundamental level like that, and putting yourself in other people's shoes, they've got to have each other's back. They've all got to think kind of alike. You know what I mean? Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah, they've all got to have the same kind of mindset, or else the machine's going to break down. And I think that's really important. And
machine has gotten too strong, and we need to pull the reins in from the outside.
Well, absolutely. So, yeah, and that's why it's incredibly difficult to do it from within. But there are, like I said, some cops, they're very rare, that will stand up for what's right and not, go through with unlawful orders like Jack McClam.
They go in with, a lot of cops go in for the right reasons. They really do. But the corruption overtakes them and they get pulled in. Maybe they fight it at first, but it doesn't take that long for them to get into the swing of things. Exactly. Because they get money. They're doing things corruptly. And they can get away with it. Most of them are criminals getting away with what you or I would do and get put in prison, but they can do it and get away with it, and they know it. Well, so criminals go into law enforcement.
And now, yeah, exactly. And it's just like a pyromaniac becomes a firefighter. I mean, I know that because I know, like, the firefighters that are total pyros. You know what I mean? I
don't know about
these guys personally.
Where you live, but our firefighters now can carry guns and have the power of law enforcement.
Yeah, that's wild. No, we don't. I don't think we have that here.
I didn't notice it either until a friend of mine brought it up to me, and then I started paying attention, and they're right. And they have been given the authority to arrest. They are part of...
What?
Yes. Yep. And in other parts, too. I mean, it's getting really strange. That's why it's important to pay close attention to what's going on in your neighborhood. I
don't think that firefighters in Detroit have that power.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I would check, because it blew my mind when I found out here they did. And it's been like this for over a year. So, I mean, it's creeping in, and it's not announced. And, if after one person finds out about it, then, but I mean, they actually have police lights now on the fire, on the fire chief's car. You know how usually they have lights, but they're not, police, not blue and red. They're usually a yellow and another color, which, they flash and you should move. But now they have law enforcement colors on their vehicles to pull people over.
Well, they've always had red lights on top of their...
Yeah, but not red and blue. It's just like ambulances.
Not red and blue.
They don't have red and blue. Only law enforcement have red and blue. And now the fire chiefs have red and blue. So, I mean, little things like that are getting slipped in without us paying really attention. It's and all these distractions. Look, we're sending more troops over to Iraq. Well, that's a distraction to me as to hiding this, what we just read, from us knowing the full extent of the DHS.
Right. Oh, well, absolutely. It's definitely creeping. And now, by the time it becomes alarming to most folks, it's too fucking late. So, that's where we're at. This was published yesterday. The Whitehead article. Interesting.
Pass that around, because you know what? That should wake up some people that are, maybe on the borderline of believing and not believing. That should bring them completely around.
Yeah, there was only a little tiny bit to that that I wasn't aware of. The rest I was keenly aware of, all too keenly. Especially the aspect of the FBI, using all this, it's just this wasteful spending, and all they're doing is just buying like all kinds of cool ass gadgets with this inflated freaking budget of theirs. I mean,
well, it just, keeps bringing to mind, and he got cheers when he said it, when we needed a civil, a civil army to match that of our military. That should have, when he said it, I'm going, what the hell's that? Well, now we know.
Well, never mind that. How about when Eric Holder, a couple of days ago, announced his domestic terrorism task force? Mm-hmm. I mean, that should be.
And then,
I mean, the bullets coming door to door now.
Yeah, after that shooting of the cops, they did another task force. They made another task force. There are so many task forces that we don't have no clue as to.
Right.
Every time anything happens, okay, make a task force for that.
Right. Well, yes, absolutely. They've got to make sure that every aspect of the American citizenry is going to be within the crosshairs. Mm-hmm. And this is, we're already there. It's not like it's going to be happening. We've been talking about this. I've been worried about the police state since like the early 80s. For God's sakes,
I've been afraid of it since 1972. I know when.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say too. And I'm hoping. It was the strangest thing this weekend after the funeral. We were talking, and some friends, and a friend of mine that she knows what I do. She goes, "Do you know B.E. Smith?" And I went, "Oh my God." I go, "Yeah, he's the man who taught me how to connect dots and how to read between the lines when government and all this." Anyway, that's her uncle.
Oh, wow. Small world, eh?
Used to give lectures at the Red Lion and all over. And I still have the California Ledger free paper that he used to write for. I still have his articles. So she's gonna get me in contact with him, and I'm gonna see if he'll come on the show with us. I mean, him and Eric Berg. If you got a ticket, arrested for not wearing your helmet when the law first came out, they went to court and defended you for nothing. I mean, he did so much.
Wow,
I mean, he's an amazing man. And he taught people how to become sovereign citizens. I mean, he told them exactly what they had to do.
That's a terrorist statement.
Oh, I know. But anyway, I mean, the man is brilliant. I mean, he taught me just about everything I know about reading, how to read, what the politicians are saying, how to be aware of when you're distracted. And I mean, the man is simply amazing, and he's 70-something now.
Oh, wow. So
yeah,
he's tired and everything?
Well, he's done this on his own for many years. I mean, this is, and like before the Oklahoma bombing, when the militias were getting strong again, that's when he was out there. And I mean, every time he'd give a lecture, it was standing room only.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, this man. So anyway, I can't wait. And he has a show on the Discovery Channel now too, she said.
Oh yeah?
I can't remember the name. Oh, I'll have to ask her again. But yeah, he does a show on the Discovery Channel.
Well, it'll be up to you to follow through on all that then.
I know, and I'm so excited. This man is, I mean, you read through his articles, and it's just simply amazing the knowledge that this man has. Is
there like a website you can go to?
Well, I am gonna have to get the thing that what he does on the Discovery Table show. I don't know if he has a website or not. I don't know if he's into computers that much. It's been since since before the Oklahoma bombings is when the California Ledger was here, and it was an awesome free press that we had going. But I kept all these issues and all the writings he did in there. I mean, he's one of my mentors, and he doesn't even know it. I can't wait. But he would be a very interesting person to have on. And he still, I guess, goes around and does do lectures and stuff with people. So
interesting. Well, yeah. I wonder what he would say about all this police state stuff. Probably the same shit we say.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, he's very intelligent. And then with Eric Berg, that's an attorney here in town, this Eric Berg knows the Constitution. He's a constitutional lawyer. Ooh. And they defended all kinds of people pro bono. Didn't charge them anything because of what they were there to see when it started really gaining and being more out in the open as to what they were doing. The government. So
yeah, that's the kind of lawyers that we need. You know what I mean? We need that. And there's scattered judges out there that rule in a constitutional way still, and
very few, but yeah.
But they're out there, darn it. You know what I mean? They are, and so it just can't be so damn quick to put everybody down in the.
Well, you have to just listen to a few cases that they've sat over to know where they stand.
Right, absolutely. Every cop isn't bad, every lawyer isn't bad, every judge isn't bad. I mean,
the majority of them, yes, they are.
Well, but I mean, and it's.
But there's a few good ones, but usually they get run out or
killed
out. Yeah, or killed even.
Killed, like Judge John Roll.
Mm-hmm.
And the Arizona shootings.
Yeah.
I mean.
And these judges that keep ruling that the judge that let off those guys that beat Terry Thomas to death, and people watched it, and then no charges at all. They all went scot-free. That judge is a crooked judge.
Yeah. Then you're right. There are an awful lot of them. Like, in fact, the scale is tipped in a criminal sort of a way, you know what I mean? But it's, we just gotta keep, if you choose to walk the good path in your own life with every step you take on this earth, if you choose to do it in a good way, then eventually the scale has to tip.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Okay, and now I want to change directions here for a minute, because I think this is interesting. Genetically modified super banana to be tested on Americans.
Oh, great.
Yep.
Here we go, the guinea pig society again.
Yep. A vitamin-enriched super banana developed by scientists is to be tested on humans. The trials are to take place in the U.S. over a 6-week period. Researchers aim to start growing the fruit in Uganda by 2020. The bananas are super because they have been genetically engineered to have increased levels of vitamin A deficiency of which can be fatal. Hundreds of thousands die annually worldwide from vitamin A deficiencies, while many others go blind, the project leader told AFP. The consequences of vitamin A deficiency are dire, with 650,000 to 700,000 children worldwide dying each year and at least another 300,000 going blind, Professor James Dale stated. Good science can make a massive difference here by enriching staple products such as Uganda bananas with provitamin A and providing poor and subsistence farming populations with nutritionally rewarded food, Dale said. The product, okay, now get this. The project was created by Queensland University of Technology in Australia and supported by the, guess who? Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. That right there is a red flag.
There we go.
Yeah, we know our science will work, Dale said. We made all the constructs, the genes that went into bananas and put them into bananas here at QUT. Dale added that the genetically modified banana flesh is more orange than usual bananas, but otherwise looks the same. Now, why is it being tested on us?
Well, because Americans are nothing but slave guinea pigs, obviously.
Yeah, I guess. Now, it says the Highland or East African cooking banana is a dietary staple in East Africa, according to the researchers. However, it has low levels of micronutrients, particularly vitamin A and iron. In the project, if the project is given the go-ahead for Uganda after the U.S. trials, now, did anyone ask me if I wanted to be a guinea pig?
Oh, hell no. They're just going to do it. They don't give a shit.
Yeah. And it says micronutrient-enriched modified crops could also be given the green light for Rwanda, Kenya, and Tanzania. In the West Africa, farmers grow plantain bananas, and the same technology could easily be transferred to that variety as well.
Plantain bananas.
Yeah, that's it. GMOs and Gates. The claim that genetically modified organisms pose no risk to human and environmental health is far from settled despite industry assertions. In October 93, international scientists said there was a lack of empirical and scientific evidence to support what they say were false claims made by biotech industry and by so-called consensus on GMO safety. They said more independent research is needed, as existing studies which say that GMOs are safe are overwhelmingly funded and supported by biotech companies. The Gates Foundation has a history of supporting GMO research and technology, at least since 2010, when the nonprofit invested in a low amount of shares in biotechnology giant Monsanto. Gates has amped up support for GMOs so that poor countries that have the toughest time feeding their poor people have a process, adding that there should be an open-mindedness, and if they can specifically prove GMO safety and benefits, food should be approved, just like they are in middle-income countries. Such support has resulted in criticism and suspicion of the foundation's agenda. You know, I mean, this goes so beyond, and they're forcing this on people. And unless people read this article, they're going to be out there buying those bananas, unaware that they are guinea pigs again. And the other thing about GMOs, they can't reproduce, people, so you are forced to go back and buy new seeds every year, and then the more that they get put out here and the more foods they take over, you know, I mean, this is getting outrageous. And here they're blatantly coming out going, you are going to be the guinea pig, America.
Yep, stay away from the orange bananas.
Yeah. You know, and here it goes on. It goes, as for the worry that GMO seeds are increasingly consolidated in the hands of major agribusiness, powers, Gates said in February 2013 after his foundation reportedly sold the approximately $23 million in Monsanto shares it owned, that they are legitimate issues but solvable issues. With GMO technology and the wider use, he added that one solution may be offering crops already patented but requiring no royalties due. This is getting really, I don't know. Gates has supported the use of GMO crops in the developing world as well as large-scale farmland investments by foreign states in the developing world. AFP wrote in 2012, months ago, Gates stressed his support for GMO farming in Africa. Middle-income countries are the biggest users of GMOs. Small farmers have gotten soybeans and cotton and things like that. But we're trying to get Africa agriculture up to high productivity. It's about a third of rich world productivity right now, and we need the full range of scientific innovation with really good safety checking to work on behalf of the poor. Yeah, really good. They're just so
they love the poor so much. They're so.
Yeah, where's the oversight? What Monsanto oversights Monsanto. How legitimate is that? And that's what it is.
Bill Gates oversees all.
Yeah.
What a bastard.
GMO crops are now grown in 28 countries, or on 12% of the world's arable land, with the acreage doubling every 5 years. However, in the European Union, only 2 GMO varieties have so far been licensed for commercial harvesting, compared to 96 in the United States. In the United States, an overwhelming majority of Americans say they support the labeling of GMO products, an effort that has gained traction in some states and interest in nearly all others. Isn't it funny how everybody wants labeling, but yet we can't get it passed in a vote?
That's right.
Yeah.
Why? Because, maybe Monsanto's got their fingers in everybody's pockets.
Plus the voting machines.
That's right.
And plus communities where they do question it charge outrageous amounts to do a recount, like that happened in Southern California when it didn't pass, when over 70% of the people wanted labeling, and then the vote showed that they lost. They wanted a
bullshit.
Recount.
Yeah.
Right, and it's up to the county to decide how much is charged, because they usually pay the people for the recount. Well, it was an outrageous amount, $92 an hour they wanted for them to pay for the recount, when normally it's either voluntary or it's like $1 something an hour. And they obviously did not want that recount. And what do you do?
No.
That's how they get around getting recounts and stuff. Yeah. But anyway, the last part of this. Opponents of labeling, including powerful food industry and biotechnology players, are currently mobilizing their resources on the national level to stem the tide of sentiment against GMO proliferation. These groups have worked with supportive members of Congress to introduce federal legislation that would block states from passing mandatory GMO labeling measures, like Vermont's despite the right to know movement's rising popularity. GMOs have been in the food supply since the 1990s and are included in roughly 70 to 80% of the products available to American consumers. According to food manufacturers, the most widely used GMO crops in the U.S. are corn, soybean, and canola. 70 to 80%.
Yeah, that's insanely amazing.
It's almost impossible to get corn that is not genetically engineered unless, you have, corn, the seeds that you have kept in your family and brought down and down and down. And the way to find out is if you get your seeds and your corn won't grow next year, guess what you got?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got all Bill Gates at the helm, man, just steering all this stuff in Africa, all of this philanthropic bullshit that he all of his proponents and all of his little aid agencies that he directs, and all of this funding that he puts vaccine programs, you name it, sterilization programs, let's call it what it really is. He is so concerned with the starving children in Africa. I mean, holy shit, this guy is a piece of freaking work. And now...
Are they going to notify America? I mean, other than this article, I have not read anywhere where we are going to be the guinea pigs of these bananas.
Man, and people will, I don't know, people will just, oh, look at this new banana. Oh, vitamin, you know what, and here's the other thing. Have you ever heard of, like a detrimental vitamin A deficiency? That is the first I have heard of it. Of a vitamin A deficiency. I mean, I know we've got like problems with magnesium and selenium and things like that, and iodine deficiencies. I know those exist, just as a general rule as our diet. But I've never heard like this. Oh my God, vitamin A!
Vitamin A.
Yeah, what the fuck is the deal with that, man? I mean, I have not heard that.
Yeah, they put like 360,000. You would think that you would know about that. Ending up blind or dead.
Yeah, that is, I think that's a Bill Gates line of bullshit, if you ask me.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Do you know what I mean? Because there's got to be, a reason to go into these third world African nations to save them. I mean, look, they're all vitamin A deficient. You know what I mean? And look, all the American children are now vitamin A deficient. We have to do something. You know what I mean? Jeez,
I mean,
man.
I know vitamin D. We are, you know, that.
Oh, vitamin D, vitamin B. I mean, but the vitamin A.
And you get most of your vitamin A from bananas. So why do they have to add more?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just.
Well, that's not the only thing, obviously, that they're adding. I mean, it's biotech. You know, it's this biotech arm of Microsoft, you know, the multi-tentacled Hydra. It's really quite disturbing.
Yeah. So anyway, beware of the orange-colored bananas, because those are the ones that and they're only going to test it for, 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's bizarre. Oh God, is that bizarre? I wonder what grocery stores they're going to choose to. I
know it doesn't really say too much.
No, it doesn't. It's
going to be tested on the American people.
Say what states? It doesn't say anything, does it?
Nope, just on the it'll be tested in the United States, and then I don't know, 6 weeks. I don't know what kind of information or research you're going to get from just 6 weeks, but
yeah, exactly. I guess if it starts killing off people within that general vicinity, they'll know. Oh, this is effective. Hey, you know.
Yeah, you know. He ate the banana last week and he's dead this week, but that's not related.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and sort of, maybe sort of along the same lines that could or couldn't dovetail into that is a new mosquito-borne virus has surfaced.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so this is kind of interesting. And it could or couldn't dovetail into that, you know.
Right.
You know, that these mosquitoes are implanted with all kinds of crap. So, biotech crap. Says U.S. officials keep close eye on miserable mosquito-borne chikungunya virus. CDC says cases confirmed in 15 states, including New York, with 25 in Florida alone. And it's a pretty nasty-looking freaking mosquito. I'll post it in chat when I'm done reading this. Let's see, New York. First, there was West Nile virus. Now, health experts are warning about another virus carried by mosquitoes, the chikungunya virus, or ChickV virus. or CHIKV, has sickened tens of thousands of people throughout the Caribbean with high fever and severe pain. Now, I read 3 weeks back now, 3 weeks back, I remember reading that story where this high fever and severe pain virus was hitting the Caribbean. I remember that. And I don't remember whether or not it was spread by mosquitoes. I'm the one that read it and I don't remember. So, continuing here, now Americans are coming down with it too. Yeah, I think I do remember the mosquitoes. I think I do remember commenting, hey, it's going to happen here. And there's fear that it will spread. CBS 2's Christine Johnson reported. This is not a fatal infection. It's just a miserable infection, said Dr. William I swear to God, this is what it says. Dr. William Schaffner, chairman of Vanderbilt University's Department of Preventive Medicine. Cases of the mosquito-borne virus have been confirmed in 15 states, including New York. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 25 cases have been reported in Florida alone. The chikungunya fever will last 3, 4, 5 days, Schaffner said. You're miserable, then you'll get better. We can treat you symptomatically. Oh, that's nice. Thanks. In other words, if you're sneezing, they'll treat the sneezes. If you're coughing, they'll treat the coughs. If you've got a fever, they'll treat the fever. So far, all of the infected Americans have contracted the virus in parts of the world where it is common. But researchers are worried that mosquitoes in the U.S. could pick up the disease by biting infected people. There's a concern that people from the United States will go to the Caribbean, might be bitten by infected mosquitoes, and then bring this virus back to the United States, Schaffner said. We have the kind of mosquito that will transmit this virus here in the U.S. Prior outbreaks have occurred in Africa, Asia, and Europe. Late last year, the virus was found for the first time on the Caribbean islands, where more than 100,000 people have been sickened. Now, that's a pretty big number. So far, we have no evidence that there are U.S.-bred mosquitoes that have become infected, Schaffner said. There is no vaccine to prevent the virus, which is rarely fatal. But I'm sure they're going to come up with a vaccine to prevent this virus. There you have it. So, there's more crap that they're testing things on.
Yeah, they never tire, do they?
Oh, dang, I forgot to put that in the chat. The picture of that mosquito was pretty menacing looking. And I clicked off of it, so sorry guys in the chat. Well, we only got 10 minutes left. There's all kinds of crap happening. Yeah. All kinds of crap happening in the world. My God, did you hear about that? About the Lois Lerner emails yesterday?
No. Oh wait, I seen something, but I didn't really read it.
The IRS's computer crashed, so over a year's worth of Lois Lerner's emails were deleted. And there's no way we can recover that. We recover it. And they've been jerking around for a year before even telling that little tidbit of information to the investigators in Congress. So this is just, meanwhile, they can build up Homeland Security and build up the militarized police state, but on the other hand, they, and point a gun, the IRS has got a bunch of ammo and weapons too, automatic weapons. Meanwhile, they can come to your house if you owe, $5,000 in back taxes, but if you want to audit the IRS, which I think we should be doing now in light of this email, whoopsie, then, hey, you're shit out of luck, and we can get away scot-free with...
Well, we're going back into Iraq, so that's where all the attention is now. So Benghazi and IRS, all of that's just like fading into the background.
That's right, absolutely. And the whole I guess I saw somewhere where he. God, I wish I had kept this. I refreshed my computer and I had this, but I guess Obama has secretly released Afghan prisoners on a U.S. base or a prison holding system there in Afghanistan. He's released a bunch of them to go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, secretly. So this is continuing. This is not an accident.
And he's not really allowed to do that without Congress.
Without Congress approval. So this guy is literally, just, he's conducting criminal acts every single day now. You know, and he's not being stopped. And blatantly. My God, this has absolutely just become it's lawlessness, where then, you know, they turn it around on us and we have to follow the law, and if we fart wrong, then we're going to get tasered and killed by like 5 cops sitting on our backs.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. I mean, what do we do about it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, Congress is just as corrupt. They will never impeach this man. And, you know, I mean, and once you he started out slow and he gets away with more and more and more. Now he doesn't even care. Doesn't even blink an eye. Doesn't even give a about Congress.
It's pell-mell lawlessness up there. Americans are getting sick of it. They're starting to say that on mainstream news. Americans are getting sick of the lawlessness. I was at work yesterday.
Then they go back to their football game or whatever, and that's forgotten.
Yeah, exactly. Something new comes up. Now with the fall of Baghdad, it's nuts. And you notice how like stuff in the Ukraine isn't getting talked about, and the whole Russia thing isn't being ramped up anymore. I mean, it's and there's all kinds of crap going on in the Ukraine right now. Like
what? People think that because it's not in the news that, oh, well, that must be all done.
Right. It's not happening anymore. Exactly. Mm-hmm. You know? So the attention span of the American people is about the size of a frickin' gerbil.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just getting so insane. And I was reading, you know, when we went into Iraq, it was for weapons of mass destruction. And then to find out that we were using chemical weapons on those people just is so disgusting.
It is totally disgusting. Makes me puke.
And so much proof, because there were dead people, their clothes still intact, but their skin melted off their bodies of women and children. You know, but that's okay.
Right. I guess they're using white phosphorus right now.
Yep. And then another agent, which
shocking.
It's not called napalm, but it does the same thing. I can't remember the new name for it, but it's the same thing. Give it a different name, I don't care. It's still like burning these people alive. Nothing protects you from it.
No, and it's just a heinous weaponry. Heinous weaponry.
Yeah.
I can't even believe it's being used in the Ukraine. My God. I mean, what the hell is going on with the world? It's just completely just turned on its head now, and they're doing this just everywhere. It's happening there's riots all over the world right now. It's everywhere. It's like they're pulling the trigger for destabilization worldwide right now.
Yeah. I don't know. We created this whole mess in Iraq, and now, you know, we pulled out. Now we're going back. Oh, goody. You know, I mean, and we're forced to because of what's going on. We created it.
Yeah.
Can't stay out of it.
That's right.
It's all by design.
Yes. And it makes me freaking sick. And it's, and we're just, you know, we're just talking to the wind, you know what I mean, almost. It just seems like all of our efforts here, you know, even on this radio station and everybody's shows and everything, and this shit still keeps happening.
And all this time, you know, we grow up thinking we are the greatest country. We're the good guys. And then to find out we are the terrors of the planet, really.
Right.
It's very disheartening. It hurts.
Well,
you know?
the greatest the greatest death toll that exists within societies are within their own governments.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it.
But we're changing that. We're changing that because we are becoming that.
That's right. It's we just went through the whole entire first hour about that, so it's happening here now. And just like I said, you know, if you haven't had your seatbelt buckled by now. So it's Tuesday, and Tuesday is really big here on UCY.TV. We got wonderful shows coming up here, you guys, so stay tuned. I guess I'll go into it a little early here, by at least a couple of seconds here. Let's see. Oh yeah, stay tuned for Kevin Blanche with Post Ignorance. He's always got something great to say, and he's one of my favorites here on UCY. I really like Kevin a lot. Then after that, the live shows are 1 o'clock. We got The Edge with John Stokes, and then at 3 o'clock is the Jack Blood Show. Totally love Jack. Can't wait to meet him at Freedom Palooza. That'll be totally awesome. Let's see, then we've got our very own Chuck O'Celli with the O'Celli Effect from 6 to 8. And at 8, we've got the Continual Condition with Jonathan and Steven. And then we've got at 10 o'clock, we've got Primer Time with Dan and Michael. That's always an awesome gun show, you guys. I just love that show. Then, of course, at 11 o'clock, there's Prepper Chicks After Dark, and she's playing Conflicted tonight. Stay tuned for another awesome lineup of UCY.TV, man. Programming, and always just try and check out the sponsors that Jules has got up on the banners and stuff. Check them out, give them a little look-see, and try and support UCY here. And Jules will be back with you guys tomorrow for sure. You there, Zori?
Yeah, I had my mute on, so sorry.
That's all right. You want to say anything on this fine Tuesday?
Have a wonderful Tuesday. Laugh a lot and try and get the word out and just piss them off.
There you go. Do something to piss them off. That's good. Do something to get in their craw, just like we do here. Just by us being on, we're in their craw. You know.
Right.
So.
And they hate it when you have a good time. So.
That's right. Yeah.
The best excuse I can think of for going out and trying to enjoy the life that you still have.
Yeah. While you still have it.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging, everybody. Love y'all. You're a great chat group.
Yep. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Have a good day, everyone.